Welcome, traveler. Tonight, we drift into 125 Minecraft facts, a soft journey through worlds made of light and memory, where every block carries a story and every sound feels like a breath between dreams. Let the hum of the night quiet around you now. Let your thoughts slow and imagine yourself standing on the edge of a pixelated plain as the square sun sinks below the horizon, painting the sky in soft golds and fading pinks. Tonight, we won't rush. We'll wander gently through creation itself, from the very first sparks of code written in solitude to the vast living world born from millions of hands and hearts. You'll hear of the music that drifts through lonely caves, of creatures who wake only under moonlight, and of the quiet beauty that lives in every corner of a game that never truly ends. So close your eyes, breathe deeply, and let the calm of the overworld settle into your heart. If you haven't already, please subscribe and stay close. Tell me softly, before we begin, where are you listening from tonight? Fact 1. In the quiet of 2009, a lone developer named Marcus Persson, whom the world would come to know as Notch, began shaping a dream out of code and curiosity, a sandbox of infinite possibility. Minecraft was not born from a corporation or a team, but from solitude and imagination, the product of long nights filled with soft keystrokes and the hum of creative hunger. It began as an experiment, a whisper of potential, yet within that simple framework of blocks and sky, he unknowingly built a world that would outlast him, a universe that would grow as vast as human wonder itself. Fact 2. The very first version of Minecraft was not yet called Minecraft, but Cave Game, a simple project where stone and dirt met in dim tunnels, where there was no music, no mobs, only the endless texture of creation. Players could place and break blocks, nothing more, but even that act so small, so repetitive, carried the seed of something timeless. It spoke to the ancient joy of shaping one's environment, the quiet satisfaction of building shelter against the void, of making something, anything, in the endless digital dark. Fact 3. The first terrain in Minecraft was generated through randomness that felt strangely alive, an algorithm that created mountains like frozen waves and valleys like forgotten dreams. Each new world was a landscape born of chaos and beauty, untouched, unplanned, yet somehow familiar. The terrain engine worked like nature itself, never the same twice, but always balanced, always poetic in its imperfection. Even now, players speak of that early randomness with reverence, as though it carried the soul of the game before design took over, before the wild became tame. Fact 4. Before villagers, before redstone, before even survival mode, there was only creation. Classic mode, they called it, a place without danger or hunger, where the only goal was to build. It was an echo of childhood, the freedom to stack, to imagine, to create, without consequence. There was no end, no score, no sound beyond the crunch of footsteps on stone, and yet it was enough. For in that simplicity, people found serenity, an infinite canvas where creativity could breathe without fear of failure. Fact 5. The name Minecraft came like a breath, a simple combination of two old ideas, mine and craft, labor and creation, exploration and art. It sounded plain, almost clumsy, yet in its modesty lay truth. To mine is to dig beneath the surface, to uncover what lies hidden. To craft is to give shape to what is found. Together, they describe not just a game, but a philosophy. That beauty comes from effort, that the world is shaped by the hands willing to build it. Fact 6. Notch once said that Minecraft's power came from its incompleteness, that the gaps between what it offered and what players imagined were where the real magic lived. He believed that imperfection invited creativity, that a blocky tree or a square sun could awaken something ancient in us, the instinct to interpret, to fill in the blanks. Minecraft, in this way, became less a game and more a conversation between maker and player, a shared dream that grew richer each time someone touched it. Fact 7. The first tool ever crafted in Minecraft was the wooden pickaxe, small, humble, and fragile, yet it symbolized the beginning of civilization within the game, the first step from chaos into purpose. That click of crafting wood into shape is a sound now known across the world, the music of progress, the rhythm of persistence. Every great structure in Minecraft's history, every city, every monument, begins with that same sound, wood meeting wood, thought meeting form. Fact 8. When the first player stood beneath the pixelated sky and saw night fall, it was both beautiful and terrifying. There were no stars at first, only darkness vast, endless, swallowing. In that moment, something profound emerged. The player felt alone, and yet, in that solitude, there was wonder. Minecraft was the first game that dared to make emptiness sacred, that allowed silence to mean something, that taught its players to find peace in the absence of noise. Fact 9. Each world in Minecraft is more than just terrain. It is an unspoken poem written in code. The random seed that creates a world is like a fingerprint, unique to each player, each journey. Somewhere in that endless string of numbers lies a mountain only one person will ever climb, a cave only one player will ever light. It is the quiet idea that no two dreams are the same, that every explorer walks a path written only for them. Fact 10. Minecraft's earliest days were uncertain. Fragile, a simple alpha version shared online, downloaded by strangers who found something strangely soothing in its blocky imperfection. They built houses of dirt, towers that reached the sky, and left torches flickering like stars in the dark. And slowly, the world began to grow, not through marketing or design, but through word of mouth, through curiosity, through the quiet magic of creation shared from one dreamer to another. It was not just a game being built, but a community, countless hands shaping infinity together. Fact 11. Marcus Notch Person was not a man chasing fame, but a quiet craftsman of worlds. In a small apartment in Stockholm, surrounded by coffee cups and glowing monitors, he began building Minecraft as one might tend a garden, carefully, curiously, never rushing, letting each block fall where imagination led. He had worked on other projects before, but this one felt different, like something ancient, speaking through the language of code. And when players began to explore his simple landscapes, he realized he had stumbled upon something vast, a place that didn't just exist on screen, but in hearts. Fact 12. The first versions of Minecraft were updated almost daily. Each new sunrise in the game met with a change in the code. One day, sheep appeared. Another, water flowed differently. Sometimes the sky itself shifted hue. Sometimes new sounds echoed in the distance. It was like watching a universe evolve in real time, imperfect, spontaneous, and endlessly alive. Players became witnesses to creation, their feedback shaping the hands of the creator, their joy fueling his late nights. Minecraft was growing the way all living things do, unpredictably, beautifully. Fact 13. Notch often described his process as building toys for the imagination. He wanted Minecraft to feel like a box of forgotten blocks in a childhood attic, where creativity was not guided, but discovered. He didn't want missions or rules, only possibilities. The greatest compliment, he once said, was not when someone finished a structure, but when they got lost, building it, when time disappeared and play became meditation. He called that moment flow, and Minecraft was his love letter to that feeling. Fact 14. The simplicity of Minecraft's art was not limitation, but liberation. Notch chose the blocky style intentionally, knowing that perfection leaves no room for imagination. The rough edges, the pixelated textures, the square sun, all of it reminded players that beauty need not be realistic to be real. The charm of Minecraft came from its honesty, a world that never pretended to be more than it was, and yet, in its simplicity, became infinite. Fact 15. In June 2009, Notch released the early version of Minecraft to the public. There were no ads, no marketing, no grand announcement, only a quiet post on a small online forum, a link, a few screenshots, and yet that post would change gaming forever. Within days, strangers from around the world began to download the game, each discovering the same silent joy that they could build anything they imagined. The first spark had been lit, and from that tiny forum, the light began to spread. Fact 16. When the first players began to gather online, they formed not a fan base but a family. They shared screenshots of their creations, offered advice, traded seeds, and built together in worlds that stretched far beyond their screens. There was no competition, no greed, only wonder, a collective awe at the idea that so much freedom could exist in such simplicity. Minecraft became a shared dream, a reminder that community is born not from similarity, but from shared creation. Fact 17. Notch once wrote that Minecraft's magic came from giving players the tools, not the instructions. He believed that true creativity thrives in the unknown, in the space where rules end and curiosity begins. He wanted people to feel the thrill of discovery the first time they dug into darkness and found coal, the first sunrise after a night of monsters. In those small moments, he said, people could remember what it meant to wonder again. Fact 18. The early days of Minecraft's development were like whispers between dreamers. Players would post ideas on forums about adding weather, or animals, or new materials, and Notch would listen. Sometimes their wishes would appear days later in an update. It felt like magic, a world alive, reshaping itself through conversation. Minecraft became a living dialogue, a bridge between creator and creation, proof that art can evolve through listening. Fact 19. During those years, Notch lived modestly. The fame had not yet come, nor the fortune, only the quiet rhythm of code and imagination. He worked alone, driven by something deeper than ambition, the need to build, to see an idea made real, to create a universe that others could inhabit. He described it as making worlds for people to rest in, and perhaps that is what Minecraft became, a digital refuge where millions found calm, joy, and a sense of belonging. Fact 20. By 2010, the world began to notice. Minecraft had spread like wind, carried by word of mouth and wonder. Let's Players began recording their journeys, their voices filled with awe as they built castles and discovered caves. Schools began using it to teach creativity and cooperation. Children and adults alike gathered around glowing screens, not to compete, but to dream. In those days, it felt like Minecraft had tapped into something universal, a longing for simplicity, for creation, for the quiet magic of being part of something bigger than oneself. Fact 21. Every block in Minecraft, no matter how simple, carries a story, a fragment of balance within the endless world. The grass block, for instance, is not just soil and green, but a living cycle, spreading life across plains and hills, connecting earth to sky. It hums quietly beneath the player's feet, reacting to light and time, growing, fading, breathing. The simplest touch of a block breaking, that soft crunching sound, became the heartbeat of creation, the rhythm by which entire worlds were built, one placement, one intention at a time. Fact 22. Dirt, stone, and wood, the holy trinity of beginnings. Every great structure, every city, every dream starts with these humble materials. In their simplicity lies a kind of poetry, the first layer of understanding, the introduction to how the world moves and listens. Stone hums low, wood creaks with warmth, dirt crumbles softly, three textures of existence, the foundation of the player's journey. Minecraft reminds us that even the grandest castles rise from the most modest beginnings. Fact 23. When day turns to night in Minecraft, it is not merely time passing, it is a meditation on rhythm, a gentle invitation to rest, to seek shelter, to listen to the sound of the world breathing. The sky melts from gold to indigo, the first stars flicker awake, and the square moon drifts across a field of pixelated clouds. It's a cycle that never rushes, teaching patience, reminding players that beauty lives in repetition, that life, too, is built on the quiet dance of sunrise and sunset. Fact 24. The overworld, green, wide, and endless, is the truest expression of freedom in gaming. No borders, no maps, no invisible walls, only horizons that beckon. Its landscapes are generated by code, yet they feel deeply human. Mountains like the memory of adventure, rivers like the paths of forgotten dreams. Each step forward creates more world, an endless unfolding, proof that creation itself can be infinite. It's not exploration for conquest, but exploration for peace, for curiosity, for the love of simply seeing. Fact 25. The first cave discovered by a player was not just a hole in stone, but a revelation, a descent into mystery. Inside the darkness, the player learned that light has meaning only when it is lost. The flicker of a torch became comfort, the echo of footsteps became music, and from that moment, every tunnel became a story. The word Minecraft found its other half, the craft of courage, the mining of self. Fact 26. Every block in Minecraft holds a subtle rule, a law written in the hidden geometry of its world. Water flows, but only so far. Sand falls, but only under gravity's pull. Fire spreads until balance claims it back. These laws are simple, yet profound reflections of the world we know, made small enough to understand. In learning them, players rediscover nature's patience, her predictability, her beauty. Minecraft teaches physics not through formulas, but through feeling, through the joy of watching things work. Fact 27. The crafting table, that unassuming square of wood, is perhaps the single most powerful symbol of creation in the game. It sits quietly in every home, every mine, every fortress, a sacred altar of transformation. With it, players take chaos and make order, turn fragments into tools, dreams into form. The soft sound of crafting, that gentle click, is the heartbeat of ingenuity. Every sword, every ladder, every torch begins there, at that little table, where imagination meets wood and time. Fact 28. Coal, the first light bringer. Found in the dark stone of early caves, it becomes the spark that drives survival. Players who find it feel the thrill of discovery, not for wealth, but for warmth, for the simple comfort of light in the night. Torches born of coal illuminate not just tunnels, but the player's path through uncertainty. In its own quiet way, Coal teaches gratitude, how something small, something overlooked, can mean everything when darkness falls. Fact 29. Minecraft's weather was added long after its birth, yet it feels as though it had always been meant to be there. Rain falls in steady rhythm, its sound soothing, reflective, like the murmuring of thought. Snow drifts softly across biomes, blanketing the world in peace. Lightning cracks only rarely, a reminder that even in simplicity, chaos remains. These cycles of nature bring texture to time, making the infinite world feel alive, breathing, emotional, as though it, too, remembers the player. Fact 30. The overworld is a meditation on beginnings, on the gentle truth that creation is an act of faith. Every tree planted, every seed grown, every home built in the wilderness speaks of that faith, that even in endlessness, something of us can remain. It is the world that forgives mistakes, that encourages rebuilding, that teaches patience through repetition. And when the player stands at dawn, looking out over the land they've shaped, they understand what Notch meant when he said, "I wanted to make a place where people could feel at peace." Fact 31. In the hush between footsteps and wind, there is music faint, distant, haunting, and it is here that the soul of Minecraft truly breathes. Composed by Daniel Rosenfeld, known softly across the world as C418, the game's music is not a soundtrack but a spirit. It arrives like memory never announced, never insistent, floating through the air, as if it had been waiting there all along. His piano melodies drift like ghosts between sunrise and rain, and for many players, they are the first sound of peace they have ever found in a digital world. Fact 32. C418's music was not made to command emotion but to accompany silence. He once said that the goal was not to tell the player what to feel, but to give space for feeling to bloom naturally. His pieces play rarely, unpredictably, like thoughts rising unbidden in solitude. When Minecraft or Subwoofer Lullaby begins, it feels less like composition and more like memory surfacing the sound of being alone, but never lonely. The game's world, vast and empty, becomes a canvas, and the music, a whisper of the divine. Fact 33. The song Sweden, soft piano, delicate synths, fading echoes, has become a lullaby for millions. It carries nostalgia even for those who have only just begun, a melody that feels like remembering something you've never lived. Players describe it as warmth in sound, a hymn to stillness. It plays when nothing else happens, when the player simply exists, watching the sun sink into the sea. And in that moment, everything, every block, every pixel feels sacred. Fact 34. C418 recorded many of Minecraft's ambient tones using layers of texture, gentle hums, airy chords, low notes that shimmer like underwater light. He wanted the soundscape to feel endless yet familiar, like listening to the wind breathe through an empty temple. Even the sound of footsteps, of mining, of water dripping, was chosen with care. The rhythm of these small sounds became part of the game's meditation, a living symphony of action and reflection, of creation and calm. Fact 35. Before music, there was silence, and it was silence that defined early Minecraft. Players often describe their first worlds as lonely but comforting, the emptiness vast but kind. When C418's music was added, it didn't fill that silence. It completed it. His melodies arrived like visitors, brief, kind, content to leave again. The quiet between the notes became part of the music itself, teaching that emptiness can hold beauty, that stillness can sing. Fact 36. The discs scattered across Minecraft, those strange relics hidden in dungeons and strongholds, are like fragments of the world's subconscious. Each carries its own voice, its own emotion. Cat dances with innocence, light-hearted and playful. Blocks is wistful and wandering. But then there is 11, broken, distorted, eerie, a fragment of panic and memory, suggesting that even in paradise there are echoes of mystery. These discs are the game's secret diary, a reminder that even perfect worlds hold questions that will never be answered. Fact 37. The way C418's music merges with nature is deliberate. He wanted every note to feel like part of the world, to rise with the fog and fall with the rain. If you stand in a forest at dawn and the song Arya Math begins, it feels as though the forest itself has started to dream. The piano fades into birdsong, the synth hums beneath the wind, and suddenly you're not playing a game. You're listening to a world remembering itself. Fact 38. C418 created his music alone, in small rooms filled with cables and flickering screens, not unlike how players built their worlds alone in the glow of their monitors. There's symmetry in that solitude. One man building sound, millions building worlds, all under the same quiet sense of wonder. He often said that Minecraft's music was never meant to be epic, because the game wasn't about victory, it was about peace, about the quiet satisfaction of making something that feels alive. Fact 39. When players close their eyes and think of Minecraft, it's not the blocks they remember first, but the feeling, that fragile combination of freedom and calm. C418's music became the emotional map of that experience. It does not crescendo, it does not demand attention, it exists, like breath, like water. It turns exploration into meditation, crafting into contemplation. Even those who stop playing remember the music as a kind of lullaby that never left them. Fact 40. Music in Minecraft is not just background, it's memory, it's emotion, crystallized in sound. Each note feels like it has traveled far to reach the player, like it carries stories of every person who has ever built, explored, or simply stood still watching rain fall on glass. C418 once said that the best music makes you nostalgic for something you've never lost. That is Minecraft's magic, the reminder that peace, like melody, is always there, waiting for you to listen. Fact 41. Every biome in Minecraft is a dream painted in code, a soft reflection of nature's endless moods. Each one whispers its own language, the quiet sigh of grasslands, the distant hush of snow, the murmuring rustle of leaves in the taiga. They exist not just as terrain, but as emotion, woven from pixels and light. When you wander through them, it feels less like exploring a game and more like traveling through the imagination of the earth itself, simplified, softened, reborn. Fact 42. The plains biome is where most journeys begin, a vast canvas of green that stretches gently beneath the square Sunday. Horses graze, bees drift from flower to flower, and the sound of wind feels almost like breathing. It is a place of beginnings, of simple shelter and first discoveries. Many players build their first home here, their torches glowing like constellations against the night. And when they return after countless adventures, that simple field of grass always feels like home, eternal, forgiving, familiar. Fact 43. In the forest biome, time seems slower. The trees stand tall and ancient, their leaves whispering like old stories carried through generations. Sunlight filters through canopies in fractured mosaics, painting the ground in shifting greens and golds. The forest hums with quiet life, rabbits darting through underbrush, owls hidden in sound alone. It is the heart of Minecraft's gentleness, a reminder that even in a world of blocks, there is softness in stillness, and that peace can be found in shadows. Fact 44. The desert biome is emptiness made beautiful. Its golden dunes shimmer under a sun that never rests, each grain of sand humming faintly with heat. There are no trees here, no comfort in shade, only the purity of silence. Yet in that stillness, something sacred lives. The temples half buried beneath the sand hold mysteries of forgotten players, treasures left like echoes of dreams. And when night falls, the desert becomes a sky of stars, vast, endless, and humbling. Fact 45. Far to the north, the snowy biomes breathe in soft exhalations of white. Snow drifts like ash from a slow fire, blanketing mountains and valleys alike. The world muffles here, every sound swallowed by frost, every step leaving only temporary proof of your existence. Wolves roam the tundra, their eyes glinting under moonlight. It feels like walking through a dream of purity, fragile and eternal, where even loneliness feels gentle, like a blanket pulled over the world. Fact 46. The jungle biome is nature's secret, kept loud vines cascading like waterfalls, parrots flashing color through thick green fog. Every step is tangled, alive, and unpredictable. Melons glisten beneath leaves, ocelots flicker between shadows, and ancient temples hide among roots, as if nature herself were guarding her memories. The jungle feels like a song sung too fast to understand, chaotic yet full of meaning, the wild pulse of creation still beating. Fact 47. The swamp biome moves differently, slower, heavier, draped in mist and shadow. Its water is thick with reflection, its trees bowed and weary. Lily pads float like fragile dreams on the surface, and frogs hum a sleepy tune at dusk. The swamp is the in-between world, neither alive nor dead, neither land nor water. It feels ancient, patient, a place where the world pauses to think before turning its next page. Fact 48. The mountains rise like quiet cathedrals, their peaks lost in clouds. Snow crowns them, and the air grows thin and reverent. Standing at their summits, the player sees forever valleys stretching endlessly, rivers winding like blue ribbons below. It is in these moments that Minecraft feels almost spiritual, as though reaching altitude means touching the edge of heaven. The world seems small from here, yet impossibly full, every valley a story, every block a breath. Fact 49. Deep beneath the earth lies the caves biome, a world beneath worlds. Here, time dissolves. The glow of ores, emerald, diamond, redstone, flickers like constellations of an underground sky. Water drips in rhythm, lava hums low, and the player's torch burns like the memory of the Sunday. The caves remind us that beauty often hides in darkness, that depth holds its own form of peace. Each descent becomes a pilgrimage inward into both the planet and the self. Fact 50. And then there is the ocean, the world's vast mirror. Once empty, now alive with coral and song, it breathes in gentle rhythm, stretching beyond sight. Dolphins leap like laughter, kelp sways like slow applause, and beneath it all, the ruins of another age lie quietly dreaming. To sail across the ocean at sunset, listening to the hum of waves beneath Sea 418's melody, is to understand what Minecraft has always been, not a game about conquest, but about coexistence, about finding serenity in the boundless and the blue. Fact 51. When the sun sets and the sky darkens into indigo quiet, the world of Minecraft transforms. It exhales softly, and from the edges of light, the creatures of night begin to stir. Each one is both story and symbol, the embodiment of fear, curiosity, and rhythm. The mobs were never made to punish, but to remind players that every world, no matter how peaceful, must hold its shadows. In that balance of light and danger, the game breathes. Fact 52. The Creeper, the game's accidental icon, was born from a coding mistake. Notch had intended to create a pig, but the dimensions inverted, and what emerged was something slender, green, and strangely silent. Yet that accident became destiny. The Creeper is the embodiment of tension, no sound but a hiss, no purpose but destruction, no hatred but inevitability. And still, when it explodes, it leaves room to rebuild, to create again. Like life itself, it teaches that ruin is only temporary, and that from every loss, new structure rises. Fact 53. Zombies were among the first of Minecraft's creatures, echoes of ourselves, walking without purpose through the moonlight. They groan softly, their movements slow and deliberate, like memories too heavy to forget. They remind the player that even in the quietest worlds, time decays all things. Yet, when morning comes, they burn in light, not in suffering, but in no release. Their existence, brief and doomed, mirrors the eternal dance between darkness and dawn. Fact 54. The skeleton, bow in hand, is precision made spectral. It attacks from distance, unfeeling, its arrows whispering through the air like winter wind. To fight one is to confront patience itself, cold, efficient, relentless. Yet when it falls, it leaves behind bone, the symbol of endurance, of what remains after fear. Even in death, the skeleton contributes to growth, its remnants used in gardens and farms. It is death feeding life again. Fact 55. The spider is both threat and ally, creeping through darkness with soft, deliberate grace. Its eyes shimmer red in the moonlight, its movement fluid, almost elegant. During day, it rests peacefully, but when night descends, hunger awakens. The spider is a creature of duality, neither villain nor friend, but a reminder that nature follows rhythm, not morality. In its silk, players find utility. In its design, a strange beauty. Fact 56. From deep caves and forgotten ruins comes the Enderman, tall and silent, a shadow that does not belong. It does not attack unprovoked. It simply exists, watching, carrying blocks from one place to another, as if rearranging the world's secrets. Its origins are mysterious, its presence unnerving. When looked upon, it screams a sound like grief and distance combined. Many say the Enderman reflects the loneliness of the player wandering, collecting, searching for meaning in an infinite landscape. Fact 57. The slime, green and luminous, bounces through swamps and caves like laughter made physical. It is harmless in its smallest form, playful even, dividing itself endlessly when struck. There's something childlike about it, the idea that even when broken, one can continue to move, to adapt, to be whole in fragments. Slimes are the poetry of resilience, little puddles of persistence under a pixelated moon. Fact 58. In the nether, the ghast floats like sorrow given voice. It is enormous yet delicate, pale as grief, and its cries echo through lava-lit air like a child calling from a forgotten world. When it attacks, its fireballs are more lament than anger, and when it falls, the silence that follows feels almost mournful. The ghast reminds us that even in hellish places, beauty survives fragile, fleeting, full of feeling. Fact 59. The villagers, though peaceful, exist alongside these creatures of night, their quiet lives a form of resistance, their soft murmurs and routines farming, trading, sleeping beneath lanterns, are humanity's reflection in an endless wilderness. They are not fighters, but builders, dreamers of dawn. When zombies come, they hide, yet every morning they emerge again, their bells ringing as if declaring that light, once more, has won. Fact 60. Every mob in Minecraft, from the creeper's hiss to the Enderman's stare, adds heartbeat to the world. They are not enemies, but elements, each representing balance. They teach the player that creation and destruction coexist, that peace is meaningful only because something can disturb it. When the player survives the night and watches the sunrise wash over the land, the lesson becomes clear. Even in a world made of cubes and code, the beauty of existence lies in contrast in the quiet harmony between danger and dawn. Fact 61. In the hush of dawn, as mist gathers above the plains, the villagers awaken quiet figures in robes of simple colors, their lives unfolding in rhythm with the rising Sunday. They do not speak as we do, but murmur in soft syllables that sound like thoughts drifting through dreams. Each village feels ancient, as if it has existed long before the player's arrival, its paths already worn by invisible generations. They are the heartbeat of Minecraft's gentleness, proof that civilization, even in a world of solitude, can bloom. Fact 62. The design of the villager was once comical, almost crude, a square face, long nose, blank stare, yet over time, players found comfort in that simplicity. Their gaze, unblinking, became a symbol of peace, of steady purpose. There is something calming in their repetition, the way they tend crops, open doors, hum their wordless tunes. Watching them is like watching time breathe slow, cyclical, unchanging. In a game of chaos and creation, they are constancy. Fact 63. Villagers live by a quiet economy of trust. Their professions are marked by the tools they carry: the librarian with his books, the blacksmith with his fire, the farmer with his seeds. They trade not for greed, but for balance: an emerald for bread, a book for knowledge, a spark of curiosity exchanged for a moment of kindness. Their marketplaces are places of connection, pixelated reflections of what community means. Fact 64. Before they were the villagers we know, they were simply figures of routine, unaware of danger. Over time, Minecraft's creators gave them awareness, the ability to run from harm, to ring bells, to seek shelter. That ringing bell, deep and resonant, became one of the game's most emotional sounds. It is a plea and a promise, at once a call to gather, to survive together, to wait for light. In that tone, we hear humanity distilled into two notes of pure instinct: fear and hope. Fact 65. Each village generates differently, sometimes by rivers, sometimes on cliffs, sometimes hidden in valleys where only the wind finds them. They are built from the earth around them: sandstone in deserts, oak in forests, spruce in taigas, as though each village is a mirror of its land. Their architecture feels humble, yet full of intention: the flicker of lanterns at dusk, the smell of wheat, the sound of wooden doors creaking. These details make the world feel lived in, loved in. Fact 66. When night falls and zombies shamble toward the gates, the villagers retreat inside, torches flickering in trembling hands. Their fear feels real, not programmed, but felt. And when the player stands guard outside, fighting back the dark, something tender unfolds. It is no longer about survival, but about protection. The villagers give purpose to the player's power, a reminder that strength means nothing without compassion. Fact 67. Among the villagers walks the iron golem, silent guardian of their peace. Tall, slow, and solemn, it roams the streets like a watchful spirit. It does not speak, it simply is, its loyalty absolute. When danger comes, it defends without hesitation, its arms swinging like poetry written in motion. Flowers sometimes rest in its hand, placed there by children, a moment of beauty that says everything about what Minecraft values most: gentleness behind strength. Fact 68. The soundscape of a village is one of the most peaceful in the entire game. The faint bleating of sheep, the rustle of wheat, the soft murmurs of trade, and the crackle of distant fire. Together, they form a lullaby of civilization, a hymn to ordinary life. It's easy to forget that behind the game's infinite wilderness lies this simple truth. Players always return to the village, not for wealth, but for belonging. Fact 69. The villager's emerald, bright, green, and rare, is more than currency. It's a symbol of connection. Every trade is an act of trust, every exchange a bridge. In a world without true words, emeralds speak the language of cooperation. Some players hoard them, others give them freely. But every glimmering gem carries the same message, that value is found not in what we keep, but in what we share. Fact 70. When the player leaves a village behind, it remains alive, self-sustaining, dreaming in pixels. The villagers rise and sleep, ring their bells, raise their crops. They do not need watching. They remind us that life continues beyond our sight, that the world breathes even when we are not there. And perhaps that is Minecraft's most comforting illusion, that somewhere, in a world made of code and light, peace endures, quietly, eternally, beneath the same square sky. Fact 71. The Nether is not hell, though it often feels like one. It is reflection, the undercurrent beneath creation, the shadow cast by light. When the player steps through the shimmering portal for the first time, the sound shifts, a deep, trembling hum, a distortion that feels like the heartbeat of another world. Red and black, gold and flame, everything here glows with an ancient energy, alive and restless. The Nether is both fear and fascination, chaos and order intertwined, a place that burns and whispers in equal measure. Fact 72. The Nether portal itself is a masterpiece of simplicity and symbolism, obsidian and fire, darkness and spark. Its surface ripples like a memory, showing both worlds at once, the familiar overworld behind, the unknown ahead. To cross it is an act of faith. Many players linger before stepping through, listening to the low hum, sensing that they are about to trespass somewhere sacred. It is the door every adventurer must face, the moment when curiosity outweighs comfort. Fact 73. Once inside, the first sound most hear is not roar or scream, but the wind, a low, haunting current that drifts between crimson cliffs. The air tastes of ash and iron. The horizon burns without end. Lava oceans flow in slow, molten rivers, their light flickering on the walls like forgotten stars. To walk here is to enter the bones of the world, to see the raw forge where existence itself might have been shaped. Fact 74. Among the Nether's many inhabitants, none are so haunting as the Ghast, whose cries echo like the voices of lost children calling through fog. It floats, pale and fragile, through a world of fire, its attacks more sorrowful than angry. Some players claim that its cry was inspired by a cat's meow, distorted in sound, a small, innocent noise turned tragic. Whether truth or myth, the ghast feels like loneliness incarnate, a reminder that even the most dangerous worlds hold tenderness. Fact 75. The piglins, introduced much later, brought a strange kind of culture to the Nether, a society built upon gold and barter, hierarchy and instinct. They are not evil. They are survival embodied, guided by curiosity and trade. Offer them gold, and they will pause their aggression. Deny them, and they will fight to protect what little peace they understand. In their rough language and busy movement, one can glimpse the reflection of civilization, primitive yet purposeful, fierce yet strangely human. Fact 76. The Nether Fortress rises from the landscape like memory given form, vast corridors of dark brick, filled with echoes and flame. It is not ruin, but persistence, a structure that defies time. Blazes drift through its halls like spirits of eternal fire, their flames crackling with ancient energy. Within these fortresses lie secrets netherwort, with its crimson pulse, and chests that carry the relics of forgotten travelers. To explore one is to wander through myth, to trace the outlines of stories no one remembers writing. Fact 77. The basalt deltas are the Nether's heartbeat, slowed gray, silent, solemn. The air is thick with ash, the ground uneven and sharp. Yet in this desolation there is strange beauty, columns of black stone rising like the pipes of an organ, playing music only the wind can hear. Many avoid it, but those who linger find peace in its emptiness, realizing that even destruction can carry dignity. Fact 78. Fire is eternal here, not a threat, but a companion. It burns endlessly, without fuel or purpose, a metaphor for the persistence of being. To watch fire in the Nether is to see time itself made visible, consuming and renewing all at once. Every flicker is a reminder that creation and destruction are not opposites but partners, forever intertwined in the rhythm of existence. Fact 79. Hidden deep within the Nether lies ancient debris, rare and glowing faintly beneath the molten stone. It is the foundation of netherite, the strongest material known to players, harder than diamond, resistant to flame. But its value is not just in strength, it is in effort. Finding it requires patience, persistence, the courage to endure heat and danger. When players finally craft their first netherite tool, they are rewarded not just with power, but with the quiet satisfaction of having earned something truly enduring. Fact 80. The Nether, for all its fire and fury, is a mirror of the player's own soul. It is the space between fear and understanding, between descent and transformation. Those who enter it often emerge changed, stronger, quieter, more aware. The portal back home glows softly in the distance, a reminder that darkness, when faced without haste, becomes illumination. Minecraft teaches this without words, that every journey through chaos is a return to peace, and that every flame, if tended gently, becomes light. Fact 81. There comes a moment in every player's journey when the horizon narrows to a single purpose, a distant mystery called the end. It is not a promise of victory, but an invitation to understanding, the last great breath of the world's dream. To reach it, one must descend through the earth, travel the Nether's veins, and piece together shards of eyes and portals, each glowing faintly with the pull of destiny. When the final eye of Ender clicks into place and the portal ignites, there is no sound, only light, a silent acknowledgement that you are about to step beyond creation itself. Fact 82. The first sensation of the end is emptiness, a void without horizon, an ocean of night beneath an unmoving sky. The ground shimmers like shadowed dust. The air hums without wind. There is no sun, no dawn, no change, only permanence, like eternity frozen mid-thought. The end stone glows faintly beneath your feet, not with warmth, but with the quiet radiance of finality. Everything feels sacred, unbroken by time, untouched by life, yet heavy with meaning. Fact 83. Then, from the distance, comes the first sound, the low, echoing call of the Ender Dragon, ancient and alone. It circles high above the obsidian pillars that rise like monoliths from the void, its wings beating rhythm into silence. This creature is less enemy than guardian, born not of evil but of duty, the final test of will and patience. To face it is to face conclusion itself, the closing of the circle, the moment the journey reflects upon the traveler. Fact 84. The fight against the Ender Dragon is not just battle, but ritual. Each pillar must be climbed, each crystal broken acts of liberation, fragments of understanding. Arrows rise like prayers, light bursts into shards, and through it all, the void listens. The player does not destroy, they release. When the dragon falls at last, its cry echoes across dimensions, sorrow and peace intertwined, the sound of an ending understood, not resisted. Fact 85. The Ender Dragon's egg, resting atop the fountain of obsidian, is more symbol than prize. It cannot be claimed easily, cannot be held without care. It flickers and vanishes when touched, teleporting away, as if refusing ownership. It is the game's quiet way of saying that not everything powerful is meant to be possessed. Some things are meant only to be witnessed, to be respected, to be left as reminders of what has been overcome. Fact 86. Surrounding the island are the Endermen, the same beings who wander the overworld's nights, but here they stand still, countless, unmoving, their eyes glowing faintly in the dark. They are the quiet choir of this place, witnesses of eternity. To meet their gaze is to confront reflection, the feeling of looking into something ancient and familiar, as though you are seeing your own solitude made visible. They pick up blocks, one at a time, as if still trying to understand creation. Fact 87. When the player leaps through the exit portal after the dragon's fall, they are not rewarded with riches, but with words, a dialogue between two unseen voices, soft and philosophical. It is the end poem, written by Julian Goff, and it speaks in riddles of consciousness, purpose, and love. It thanks the player not for victory, but for playing, for dreaming, for existing. It reminds us that the act of creation, of building, exploring, and wondering is itself the highest form of life. Fact 88. The poem's words drift slowly, line by line, as though whispered across a great distance, and the player dreamed again of sunlight and trees and fire. It is the game's lullaby, its final exhale, merging story with philosophy. It tells the player that they are not separate from the universe they shaped, but part of it, that the world was not built around them, but through them. Minecraft ends not with conquest, but with connection, and that is its truest genius. Fact 89. Beyond the Dragon's Island, the end cities rise towers of purple and chorus fruit, gleaming violet against the void. They are remnants of forgotten civilizations, proof that even eternity leaves traces of curiosity. The elytra, found within their floating ships, is the gift of freedom wings that let the player soar through the skies of all worlds, no longer bound by gravity or fear. To wear them is to become part of the wind, to complete the circle from creation to flight. Fact 90. The end is not the end. Not truly. It is a threshold, a meditation on completion. It teaches that endings are not closures, but continuations seen from a higher place. When the player returns to the overworld, watching dawn rise once more, the colors seem softer, the sounds deeper, the world more alive. The end is not where the story stops, it is where meaning begins. Minecraft's quiet wisdom is this: every ending is just the beginning, remembered in a different light. Fact 91. Hidden within the earth, glowing faintly like veins of thought itself, lies redstone, Minecraft's pulse of power, the lifeblood of invention. It hums when touched, sparkles in darkness, and crackles with a sound like whispering circuitry. To find it is to stumble upon the game's secret heart, for redstone transforms creation into motion, thought into action. It is the bridge between imagination and mechanism, the symbol of the mind learning to move the world. Fact 92. When first mined, redstone dust seems simple, unassuming, yet it holds infinite potential. It is the game's quiet paradox, something so small, capable of limitless design. The player who learns its rhythm becomes an architect of light and logic, drawing invisible patterns of energy across the land. Each flicker of current is a heartbeat, each circuit a sentence in a language that only creativity can translate. Redstone, in its essence, is the poetry of curiosity. Fact 93. The first spark, the moment a player powers a torch, watches light jump from one block to another, is pure wonder. That spark carries history, the birth of invention, the thrill of understanding how the world responds. The feeling is ancient, reminiscent of fire's discovery, of realizing that nature can be shaped by intellect. Every contraption since, from doors that open with secret levers to elaborate machines that play songs, descends from that single, glowing flicker in the dark. Fact 94. Redstone is not electricity, it is imagination materialized. Its power is not measured in volts or rules, but in patterns of intention. The dust carries energy across space, the way ideas travel between minds invisibly, unpredictably, beautifully. Some see it as a puzzle, others as meditation. For many, it becomes a form of language, a way of thinking in rhythm and flow, where the hum of circuits becomes music for the mind. Fact 95. The redstone torch is the first instrument of logic, a tiny flame of intelligence. It can turn signals on or off, switch power, create rhythm. From this one humble tool, players built worlds within worlds, clocks, gates, calculators, even entire computers. The redstone torch is a candle in the cave of reason, and its glow marks the moment when creativity and science meet. Fact 96. Repeaters and comparators followed, tools that extended thought into distance and depth. They made redstone not just a circuit, but a language of cause and effect, of delay and rhythm. With them, players learned to sculpt time itself, to let power travel like breath, to control when the world responds. Every redstone device, no matter how complex, is built on patience, on the understanding that even in logic, art can thrive. Fact 97. Redstone gave birth to a new kind of player, the engineer dreamer. They are the ones who see the game not as landscape but as potential energy, who look at fields and mountains and imagine machines humming quietly beneath them. Their creations are invisible, symphonies, traps, elevators, secret doors, farms that harvest themselves, and when these players speak, they don't describe blocks or monsters, but circuits and pulses, patterns of life made mechanical. Fact 98. Among the community, some creations defy belief. There are players who have built working computers within Minecraft capable of calculations, memory, even logic gates, built entirely from redstone dust and torches. Others have crafted music boxes that play symphonies, or machines that write poetry, lines flickering across signs in perfect rhythm. These are not mere inventions, they are meditations on complexity, proof that art and logic are two sides of the same gentle miracle. Fact 99. The hum of a redstone circuit is more than sound. It is pulse, continuity, the invisible thread that connects everything. To build with redstone is to learn patience, to fail 100 times and still believe that the spark will flow. Many players describe it as calming, the quiet satisfaction of watching a design finally work, light running across dust like thought through neurons. It teaches resilience through creation, the peace found in persistence. Fact 100. And so, redstone becomes more than a material. It becomes philosophy. It reminds the player that understanding the world does not make it less magical, it makes it more so. Every flickering wire, every pulsing lamp, every mechanism whispering beneath the earth is proof that wonder and logic can coexist. Minecraft, through redstone, teaches a gentle truth, that intelligence is not the opposite of imagination. It is imagination, made tangible, made eternal. Fact 101. Beneath Minecraft's simple surface lies a quiet constellation of secrets, fragments of humor, mystery, and poetry left behind by its creators. Some are deliberate winks, others accidents made sacred by discovery. Together, they form a hidden mythology within the game, reminders that even in a world of code and cubes, mystery survives. Players wander for years and still stumble upon something unexpected, as if the world itself still dreams. Fact 102. If you name a sheep Jeb using a name tag, its wool shimmers endlessly through every color of the rainbow. A small gift from the developers, a celebration of joy disguised as code. It is not useful, not practical, but that is the beauty of it. It exists simply to make players smile, to remind them that not every creation must serve purpose. Some exist only to be beautiful. Fact 103. Similarly, naming a creature Dinnerbone or Grum flips it upside down. Horses walk inverted, pigs wander awkwardly through air, the world laughs quietly at itself. It is the kind of secret that feels like friendship, the developer leaving a small note in the corner of the code, saying, "Remember to play." Minecraft's greatest wisdom often hides in its silliest moments. Fact 104. Every so often, if you look toward the fog at the edge of the map, players whisper of seeing something, a tall figure, white eyes glowing through mist. Herobrine. They call him a legend that began as a rumor and became myth. He is said to be the ghost of a lost miner, or Notch's brother, or the soul of the code itself. In truth, Herobrine never existed, yet his absence became his presence, proof of how human imagination fills every empty space with story. Fact 105. Minecraft's splash texts, those yellow phrases on the title screen, hold their own strange poetry. Some are jokes, also try Terraria, while others feel profound. The cake is a lie, the work of many hands, hearts, and minds. Each one greets the player like a whisper from the developers themselves, a reminder that even at the world's beginning screen, playfulness endures. Fact 106. Hidden deep in the game's code is a piece of text titled credits.txt, a simple document filled with the names of those who shaped the game's early identity. It is rarely read, rarely seen, yet it remains eternal as stone. It feels almost like a prayer, a list of souls who gave their light to creation. To read it is to remember that behind every infinite world lies finite hands, human, flawed, beautiful. Fact 107. Occasionally, the game's music discs tell stories not through words, but through atmosphere. The disc 13 begins with static and distant footsteps, as if someone is running through a cave. 11 follows with coughing, gasping, stone breaking, then silence. Many believe these discs are fragments of a forgotten narrative, an echo of the first explorers who mined too deep. Whether or not it was intended, they remind us that every sound can carry memory. Fact 108. There is a rare splash text, Minseraft, that appears only once in 10,000 openings of the game. Just one misplaced letter, and yet it feels monumental. Those who see it speak of it as if they've been blessed. Though it changes, nothing. Its charm lies in rarity, the reminder that even in endless worlds, surprise still exists, waiting patiently in a single misplaced vowel. Fact 109. Minecraft's creators have hidden humor even in its death messages. When a player falls from a great height, the world gently remarks that they hit the ground too hard. When they swim in lava, it sighs that they tried to swim in lava. It never mocks, never judges it, observes, almost fondly. Even in failure, Minecraft keeps its tone kind, turning frustration into acceptance, loss into laughter. Fact 110. Perhaps the most beautiful secret of all is the quiet care in the code, the invisible decisions that make the world feel alive. Leaves decay slowly but always fall near saplings. Clouds drift with deliberate imperfection. Animals wander just far enough to seem free but never lost. These are the small, hidden kindnesses of creation, the subtle threads that make players feel at home without knowing why. It is the game's softest secret that someone designed it to comfort, not to conquer. Fact 111. Minecraft's greatest creation has never been a building, a biome, or a mod. It has always been its community, a living world beyond the screen. Millions of hands and hearts have shaped it, from the smallest cottage built in silence to the vast servers that hum with endless collaboration. Each player leaves behind a trace, a torch, a bridge, a field, and those traces, combined, form something greater than any code could predict, a living tapestry of imagination. Fact 112. When Minecraft was first released to the world, it was incomplete, fragile, uncertain, yet what followed was not chaos but harmony. Players became architects of wonder, storytellers of light. Children built replicas of their schools. Artists crafted galaxies out of glass. Engineers constructed machines that could dream. The game became a stage for all forms of creation, a reminder that technology can serve the oldest human instinct, to make something beautiful simply because we can. Fact 113. In classrooms across the world, Minecraft, Education Edition, became a quiet revolution. Teachers began using it not just to teach logic or architecture, but empathy, letting students rebuild historical sites, simulate ecosystems, or learn cooperation through shared construction. Within those pixelated walls, lessons became stories, and play became understanding. It taught that learning, like building, is not about perfection, but about curiosity sustained by wonder. Fact 114. The world of servers and realms became the meeting ground of generations. Here, strangers worked side by side, crafting kingdoms, cities, or vast collaborative art. On these servers, friendships were born not from competition, but from coexistence, from the simple joy of seeing one's imagination made visible by another's hands. In a world often divided, Minecraft quietly stitched people together, one block at a time. Fact 115. There are stories whispered in online forums of worlds that have lasted for years, servers passed between friends like heirlooms, maps rebuilt and restored over time. Players who first built in childhood return decades later to see their old homes still standing, torches still glowing, walls still humming with memory. Minecraft does not forget. Its landscapes hold echoes of laughter, the footprints of those who once wandered there. It is, in its own way, eternal. Fact 116. Content creators became the game's modern bards, spinning stories from pixels and passion. YouTubers and streamers turned the quiet act of building into an art of narration, transforming private creativity into shared experience. Viewers found comfort in their voices, their worlds, their humor, and in the rhythm of blocks placed gently in time. Minecraft's digital campfire burns brightly, its flame carried by the countless storytellers who keep the world alive with wonder. Fact 117. The updates themselves became a kind of poetry. Names like the Adventure Update, the Nether Update, Caves and Cliffs, the Wild Update. Each one expanded not just the game, but its imagination. New creatures, new biomes, new mysteries. Each addition was an act of care, as if the world itself was still growing, still dreaming. Even after more than a decade, Minecraft refuses to feel complete, because creativity, by its nature, never truly ends. Fact 118. For many, Minecraft has been a sanctuary, a place of healing during hard times. Its quiet music, its slow rhythm, its open skies have offered solace when the world outside felt too loud. Players have shared stories of grief eased through building, of anxiety soothed by tending to fields, of friendships formed across oceans of pixels. Minecraft's peace is not artificial. It is felt a kind of digital mindfulness, a meditation made of stone and light. Fact 119. Over time, Minecraft transcended even its own medium. Artists used it to recreate Van Gogh's Starry Night. Scientists simulated cell structures within its physics. Architects tested the limits of design. It became not just a game, but a universal language, one where creativity needed no translation, where imagination was the only rule. Each block, each torch, each piece of redstone became a word in that shared vocabulary of creation. Fact 120. And so, Minecraft's legacy is not measured in sales or updates, but in the moments of connection it has sparked between people, between generations, between the living and the digital. It stands as a testament to the gentlest truth, that when you give people a world to shape, they will fill it not with destruction, but with wonder. In its quiet way, Minecraft teaches what few creations ever manage to say, that every player, everywhere, has the power to build peace. Would you like me to guide you now into the final chapter, Part 13, Final 5 Facts, plus outro reflections in the pixelated sky? Fact 121. Somewhere, in every player's first world, there is a small structure, a rough shelter, a tower of dirt, a broken bridge. It stands untouched for years, its torches dimmed, its windows cracked by time, and yet it endures. This small ruin is more than a relic of early play. It is a time capsule of innocence, a reminder of how creation begins, uncertain, imperfect, but deeply sincere. In that first house, built against the night, lies the essence of Minecraft, the courage to begin something without knowing how it will end. Fact 122. The sunrise in Minecraft feels different once you've seen everything. The caves, the nether, the end. It carries weight, meaning the square sun climbs slowly over the horizon, and light spills across the world like forgiveness. The shadows recede, the grass glows, the water shimmers, and for a brief moment, everything feels in harmony. It's not just dawn in the game, it's a reflection of the player's own journey, from fear to understanding, from solitude to serenity. Fact 123. There is a quiet philosophy hidden in every block that creation is an act of kindness. To build something, even in pixels, is to believe that the world can be improved. Minecraft's greatest secret is not its mechanics or its code, but its faith in human hands. Every structure, from the smallest farm to the grandest city, is a gesture of hope, a message whispered through time. I was here, and I made something beautiful. Fact 124. In the game's quietest corners, the far biomes, the untouched valleys, the world exists without witness. Trees sway, rain falls, wolves wander. Even when no one is there to see, Minecraft continues. That is its softest lesson, that beauty does not depend on an audience, that existence itself is enough. It reminds us that creation need not always be seen, that sometimes the most sacred acts are those performed in silence. Fact 125. After all the adventures, all the discoveries, there comes a moment when a player simply stands still, watching the sunset over the blocky sea, the golden light flickering on the waves. It is in that pause that Minecraft's spirit is most alive. It is not about ending, or winning, or conquering. It is about breathing in the peace of a world that was once only code, now made infinite by imagination. And in that moment, the player understands that Minecraft has never been about survival, but about being, about finding stillness in creation, and seeing, in every pixel, a reflection of one's own soul. And so, we drift to the end of 125 Minecraft facts to fall asleep, to our journey through blocks and time, through sound and silence, through the quiet rhythm of creation itself. What began as a simple game, a handful of textures and rules, became a universe of shared dreams, a place where millions have found comfort, community, and calm. If you listen closely, you can still hear it, the soft clink of a pickaxe, the hum of redstone, the echo of C418's piano floating through pixelated air. These are not just sounds. They are lullabies, reminders that imagination, no matter how simple, can build eternity. So rest easy tonight, traveler of worlds. Let the music fade and the torches dim. Somewhere, beneath a square moon, your world still waits peaceful, patient, alive with memory. And when you return, it will greet you as it always has, whispering through grass and rain, "Welcome back, builder. The world missed you. Good night."